Welcome to Brands Over Brews, your weekly chat with marketing and business leaders who are shaping the future of the industry. I'm your host, Pat Cooper. Each episode will explore the strategies, insights, and personal stories of our guests. On today's episode, we have Josh Thomas. Josh is a 15-year grizzled veteran entrepreneur who has worked with more than 5,000 entrepreneurs across 30 different industries over the last 15 years. Many of his top clients have been able to 2x, 3x, and even 5x their sales in less than 90 days by following his proven sales systems and guidance. A longtime business consultant, he is the co-founder of Anabots AI, as well as the host of the Do Zone and Basic Business AI podcast. Austin, Texas is currently his home, although he's originally a Kentucky boy. Josh, it is great to have you on the show today.
Yeah, man, I'm ready. I already got permission to not be drinking since it's still the morning.
It's still pretty early.
Brands, definitely choosing brands over brews right now.
Yeah, I have water, so I'm not opening up any sort of brew at the moment, even though it's noon here. But I appreciate you coming on the show. So we will skip the icebreaker today. We won't go into too much about what we're drinking, but we'll get things kicked off with AI and content. So obviously you do a lot of work in the space with AI. I use a lot of AI in my day-to-day, whether it's my personal life, surprisingly enough, or my business and work life. I use a lot of Gemini and ChatGPT, and of course, there are hundreds of apps out there that use that ChatGPT wrapper. But a lot of it to create content and set up frameworks and develop new ideas for work. And you have a certain content method, the H2M Content Method. Could you go into a little bit of detail of what that is and what you currently do in the AI space?
So here's the thing, there's 90% of business owners and entrepreneurs are curious about AI, but they're not quite sure how to implement it in their business effectively yet. And it's not that you're not smart. It's just that it's a little intimidating, it's a little overwhelming, and it's moving way faster than we can keep up with. Mm-hmm. And so that's one thing. And so the first thing that we got to get out of the way is AI is nothing to be scared of. It's just a tool. You don't need to be like a marketing bro to figure it out. You don't need an advanced tech degree to figure it out. You just need to understand that it's a tool. And just like you swing a hammer, you can use AI. If you can swing a hammer, you can use AI. That's the idea. And so what we use AI for, since 9 out of 10 people are like, I'm not real sure about that. What we focus on is how can I use AI to make an immediate impact on your bottom line? How can I impact your P&L? How can I bring more dollars in the door immediately using AI? And the best way that we've found to do that is to focus on front-end sales. We automate front-end sales using AI. And there's some statistics and stuff I can go into, Pat, but the idea is this. If you're able to get back to an online or an inbound inquiry of any kind, if you're able to get back faster than anyone else, you have the best chance of winning that deal. Even if your offer's not that great, even if your customer service isn't that awesome, even if your prices aren't competitive, if you're the person that gets back fastest, that is the single lever that you could pull that is more effective than any other lever. Just be there when your customer expects you to be there, and you will win despite everything else. That's really what we focus on as far as AI and the H2M method. I can go into that for a minute, but let me just kind of stop here. Like, I want to get that idea out. Maybe that's worth talking about for a minute, is get back to people when they expect you to get back to them.
I love that because AI can be a burden to some teams, some businesses. When you think of artificial intelligence, it has this kind of ring to it that makes it seem really encompassing, but it's really not. It's a bit, it can be friendlier than it makes itself out to be. And I think absolutely using it in that way for the H2M method, using it for a purpose rather than just using it, is incredibly a huge benefit to businesses.
And so it's kind of since I sent that in, we've evolved it a little bit, right? So H2M is human to machine, okay, and it's really human to machine to human, H2M to H, right? And what we've kind of adopted now is we call it the conversational funnel. And here's the idea: speed to lead is essential. We call this rapid response revenue. If you can get back faster than anybody else, you're probably going to win the business. Here's the stats to back that up. The customer expectation when they reach out to a new business is that you're going to get back to them within 5 minutes. That's their expectation. If you don't get back to them in 5 minutes, your chances of doing business with that lead goes down by 80% after 5 minutes. After 10 minutes, they've almost completely given up to you, and they're probably talking to your competitor if you haven't gotten back to them in 10 minutes. And so here's the part that really stings. Pat, do you know what the average response time is for all businesses? This is inbound inquiries from potential customers. Do you know what the average response time is?
I'm going to assume it's longer than 10 minutes.
That would be correct. Want to take a guess?
I want to say like maybe 60 minutes, probably longer.
That would be awesome. It's actually 47 hours.
Oh, wow.
2 days. Now, here's how crazy that is. Do you remember a website you were on 2 days ago?
Honestly, no.
Do you remember a website you were on 2 hours ago?
I think so. Maybe 2 hours, maybe an hour ago.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. How about like 20 minutes ago? Who knows?
Yeah.
But here's the thing, like, you probably remember what you were doing 5 minutes before this podcast, but you probably don't remember what you were doing earlier this morning or yesterday or the day before yesterday, that's how much time has passed before the average business gets back to somebody who said, hey, I have a question about your business. Can you help me? 2 days later, oh, hey, I saw you had a question about our business. You're losing. Like, it doesn't matter if you have the best service, the best prices, the best product. It doesn't matter at that point. What matters is that you were there when they expected you to be there. Now, one more statistic I can share with you. If you can respond to a customer inquiry within 1 minute, your chances of doing business with them actually jumps 391%.
Oh, wow.
You are 4 times more likely to transact business with somebody who comes in as a lead if you can respond within 1 minute. And how do you respond within 1 minute? You answer the phone when they call, or you respond to a message that they send or an email that you send within 1 minute. And you might think, well, that's really hard to do because I'm only human. You're right, you're only human. That's why you need AI. Because AI, the average response time for online inquiries with AI is 5 to 7 seconds. Well within that minute window. And so your people are expecting you, if somebody takes the time and effort to reach out to your business, they want action. They got an itch. They want that itch scratched. And if you can scratch it in 5 seconds, you will slay everyone, even if the rest of your business is a mess. And so we build AI systems that focus on that, because that's the one thing most businesses are terrible at, is speed to lead. The second thing that most businesses are terrible at is follow-up. So we use AI to maximize the speed to lead, and then also create eternal follow-up until they buy, die, or take out a restraining order on you.
Have you had any trade-offs with that? Like, if I submit a form and the business was using AI and I got a response in like 2 minutes, have you seen a different response than an AI system that's responded in like 10 minutes or 12 minutes? Does that like immediate response seem too artificial for users?
No, it's a great point. But there's another study that shows there's 74% of online consumers, and I promise I'm not like making these stats up. 95% of all stats are made up. Uh, but 74% of online consumers stated very clearly they would prefer to speak with a chatbot or a virtual assistant if it meant they could get their question answered fast. They
Interesting.
actually don't care because the alternative is like, all right, I can talk to this machine that got back to me in 5 seconds, or I can talk to a human that might call me in 2 days or maybe never. I'll take the machine. And so that is one of the biggest things that come up. Well, my customers only want to talk to humans. And that's actually not true. In fact, three-fourths of your customers would prefer to just get the service that they need, whether they're talking to a human or not.
That's interesting. So having those resources, having that speed is a much more of a benefit and offset than, maybe having sort of an artificial feel. Because truly that's what a user wants. They want the information. They want, whatever they're maybe ordering. They want the rapidness. Because I think, it really is time is money these days. Time has always
And
been money.
right,
but
yeah. And there's a separation though, because I'm not talking about like your grandpa's chatbots from 2006,
yeah,
right? Not those guys. Oh, do you want this or this? Select your option. Or there's other ones that I see all the time. Like you go on a badge on a website and you type in your name and you ask a question, and it's like, oh, hey, what's your name and email? And you type in your name and email, and then it goes to this other screen that says, we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Like that, that's not a conversation.
right,
That's not even, you're not even taking a message. And so what you can do with AI is you can actually create a near human conversation. Most people don't even have any idea they're talking to AI. Not that we're hiding it,
right.
but as an example, we have a client we install an AI chat for, and she doesn't get a ton of traffic on her website either. And a lot of people say, well, nobody goes to my website. Not true. They go to your website and they have questions. And the reason they don't call you is because they don't want to talk to you yet. They just want their question answered. And so we have a client, we install the AI chat, and she runs this like indoor playground. They do like these really expensive birthday parties for kids, like $5,000 or whatever.
Hmm.
And we were able to use the AI chat to close 3 different deals worth $4,000 each, completely without any human involvement. One of them was at 10 o'clock at night while she was tucking her kid in bed. And the second one was actually completely in Spanish.
Oh, wow.
And the business owner does not speak Spanish. And so $12,000 of business just by having somebody to answer the question right away. And this is business she may not have gotten because it's a very competitive industry. There's a lot of different options where you can take your kid for a birthday party. And hers was the one that responded first.
That's crazy. That sort of return on investment, that sort of sales figure tied to autonomous everything. That's wild. Are there certain businesses that benefit more from AI over other ones?
Yeah, it depends on what you might use it for. Like our
True.
focus is very heavy on that front end sales conversation
Hmm.
because I personally feel like that's where you're going to get the best bang for your buck. That's the place that most businesses struggle with. And that's the place that if you solve that problem, whether it be human or machine, then you're going to maximize your profit and revenue growth. And so the businesses that this helps the most are service-based businesses, typically, that have at least some level of inbound inquiry. If you're 100%, you got to go out and pound the pavement, cold call, and all this stuff. Maybe AI is not the best place for you right now. You can do that with AI. There's just a whole lot of extra rules and hoops you got to jump through and regulations and stuff, and we can totally set that up. But if you have a service like home services, plumbing, HVAC, professional services like accounting and law or real estate agents, those kinds of guys, if you've got inbound inquiries of any amount, then AI can augment your sales significantly. And outside of that, if you have a presence, like if you have social media presence, if you run a podcast, or if you're paying for traffic, like if you're spending money on ads, then this can potentially boost your revenue extensively because you're sending paid traffic to a landing page, and that landing page is either going to convert them or it's not. And let's say it converts 20%. But if somebody's there ready for you, you're going to get 1 out of 5 anyway. So what about the other 4? Well, 1 or 2 of those guys might buy if you could just answer their question, but they're not ready to call you yet. So let me ask the chat. Oh, hey, do you guys take payment plans or whatever? Yeah, sure. What kind of payment plan do you need? Can you do 3 payments of X? Deal. Here's a link. And we can take care of that. Boom, right there. Just getting 1 more guy to sign up, that doubles your conversion rate immediately.
That's
And
really interesting because I even remember way back when I first started studying marketing, that kind of goes into answering those questions that AI will answer themselves now. Is he ran a very successful pool business, and he realized he could actually qualify so many more leads if he took all the most common questions that he would waste his time on with trips to people's homes, on questions about how much does it cost, what does it take to get a bill, do you do in-ground or above-ground pools. By baking those into the site, getting all those FAQs answered, he could qualify so many more leads and churn around so much more business. And now that's being elevated into AI. Now AI can take care of all of that, but it's a much more one-to-one sort of engagement versus just reading content on a page.
it's conversational versus static.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the idea. And so what I would recommend in that situation is we typically, when we're building AI chat, if you've got those FAQs, we'll bake them into the AI. And even if it's on your site, some people are going to read it and some people are just not going to read it, and they're going to want to call you and ask. And or they're going to want to text and ask, "Oh, hey, well, can you guys work with this budget?" And even though it says these are the budgets right there on the page, go ask the AI, "Hey, can you guys work with this budget?" And it answers their question. And then they pick up the phone and they call and they say, "Hey, can you guys work with this budget?" Hey, you already read it. You already texted it. If you're calling me and asking me the same question, you're really interested. But sometimes people just need that extra confirmation, and it makes it easier for them to go ahead. By the time they're calling you and they've got all their questions answered, they just want to talk to a human to get reassurance at that point. The deal's done. They already got their questions answered.
Yeah, I love being able to just completely automate that process and completely take it off the business owner's hands. Because I think that, I've worked with a lot of local businesses too, and so much of their business is dealing with just the small questions that may even be on their website, but that user who hasn't converted yet just may need that one last touch point that's a bit more engaging than just reading a piece of content on a website.
I used to get so jaded about those dudes, like, can't you read? But I'm one of those dudes, like, yeah, I can see it on the web page, but I just want to talk to a person, because if I can hear how you talk to me, then that creates trust in my mind.
Right.
If I see that consistency of messaging across all channels, like, oh yeah, oh hey, can you guys work with XYZ industry? Yeah, we can work with XYZ industry if they do 1, 2, and 3. Oh yeah, I saw that on your website. Like, I already knew that. I just needed to hear you say it. People are
Right.
weird, man. And so what we want to do, but the other thing that people don't like is they don't like being squeezed. And they don't like being forced and pressured and cornered. But a funnel, like a sales funnel, that's exactly, like, it's literally in the shape of a funnel. It's like designed to squeeze you. And no, you're gonna go down the chute and you're gonna pop out and you're gonna pay me on the other side. That's what a funnel says.
Right.
But a conversation with a friend, a trusted friend, that's a totally different experience. And so with AI, we can recreate that conversation with a trusted friend right there on your website, or you can do it on SMS. So we can automate text messaging. So they can actually, you can literally have it text a phone or text a phone number and it'll text you back. You can do it on Google My Business, Facebook, Instagram, any kind of support tickets. You can design AI to automate all of those conversations because that's how people want to buy. They want to get to know somebody. They want to ask the questions that they have in their own way, on their own time, and decide when they're getting ready. They don't want to be squeezed into a funnel. Like that's
Oh,
so 10
totally.
years ago.
Yeah, no, and I think the biggest difference between like salespeople and AI, especially in the instance that you're using, is that a salesperson will say, "Hey, we're not leaving this phone call until we have our next meeting booked." But AI is more or less being leveraged to be a resource center. I'm here to answer all your questions. I'm not going to squeeze you. I'm here to make sure that you leave with a good experience and you leave with all the content and context you need to actually make that purchase or convert on the website.
That's right. And you can also train it to go ahead and try to close the deal. There's
Right.
nothing wrong with asking for the sale.
Of course, yeah.
And then you mentioned about, hey, we're going to have the next call booked. I call that closing the loop.
Yeah.
And that's just good practice, right? Because we all have the best intentions, and as soon as we hang up the phone, then we both go in 20 different directions and we forget. So, but there's a tactful way to do that when you're a salesperson, and there's also a tactful way that AI can do that. Like, hey, would you like to get on the phone and talk about this? Seems like you have a lot of really good questions. Would you like to talk with the owner? Seems like you got a lot of issues. Would you like to talk to the customer service manager? I can book a call for you. We'll call you right on the dot. AI can handle all that, can kind of be your receptionist,
Hmm.
your appointment setter, your lead qualifier, and all of those things. There's really no limit to what you can do with it. And the little asterisk I want to add to the end of that statement is you don't actually have to know how to do any of that. You can go and sign up for 1,000 different softwares. There's a lot of AI chat out there.
Yes, yeah.
Most of them are going to make you like figure it out. But there are other guys that are just going to build it for you. Hey, if you're a great plumber, keep being a great plumber. Don't be an AI expert. Just hire the guys that know how to do it and they'll set it up for you. You'll get an immediate ROI.
Yeah, there's so many like no code, low code tools, AI that will build this and that for you. I'm sure there's AI that'll build AI for you at this point.
That's right, there
So
is.
there's really no barrier to entry to start using AI in your own business today. And Josh, you've worked in the AI industry for a while. I'm sure you have many, but if you had to choose one of your biggest hot takes in this industry, what would that be?
Biggest hot take. Aside from what I've shared already, that AI is just a tool,
Yeah.
which I think is one of the biggest hot takes that you can have. It's that there's a lot of fear and uncertainty. And that fear and uncertainty, first of all, is normal. We went through that with smartphones in 2007. We went through that with the internet in 1999. There's literally, you can go and look this up right now, December 5th, 2000. There's this giant block letters on a newspaper headline that says, Internet may be a passing fad as millions give up on it. That was this century. That was 24 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And we can go all the way back to automobiles. There was propaganda from the wagon companies about how automobiles were like the
Yeah.
scourge of the roads. There were political cartoons in 1879 questioning the utility of Edison's light bulb. Like fear and uncertainty is normal when new advancements in technology come. It's like ingrained into us. And so the hot take, I went the long way. This is like the lukewarm
No,
take.
I'm all here for it.
The lukewarm take here, getting back to the hot take is
Yeah.
this. You don't have to become an AI expert. And AI is not going to take your job. Okay? Two things that I will release the tension. You do not have to become an AI expert, and AI will not take your job. But you do need to leverage AI in your business because it's not going away. And if you don't leverage AI in your business, somebody who is leveraging AI in their business, they're going to take your job. Keep those two things in mind. You don't have to become an AI pro and AI won't take your job. You have to leverage AI because somebody else who's leveraging AI will take your job if you don't.
I really love that sentiment with adopting AI versus being terrified of it, and that it's not here to take your job. I've seen so many marketers on LinkedIn who are unfortunately out of work, and they say, I've submitted 6,000, 10,000 applications and I haven't been able to land anything. And then you see the person off to the right who says, oh, I used AI to customize my resume for every single job application. I applied for 10 jobs and I got one in a few weeks. There's such a big difference with adopting emerging technology that has a serious benefit in the workforce and the business environment. So the sooner you adopt it, the sooner you won't have that feeling of it's over. My job's over. My career's over. It's going to be the end of me. It's here for a purpose. And just like any technology, it's neither good nor evil. It's all about the application that we use it for.
And that's really the point. And I want to condense this because adopting AI, that sounds overwhelming. Like,
It
oh, I don't
does.
even know where to start. And so here's where to start. If you run a business or if you're a marketer, or you're paying for traffic right now, or you're running SEO or social media, whatever it is that you're doing, start here. Start with the one thing you can change in your business that will make an immediate positive impact on your revenue. If you can use AI in one simple way that brings in more money for your business, take that money, reinvest it however you see fit, but then you see the power of it, and then you can find other ways to use AI to leverage and continue to improve your business. But just this is why I focus on just this one part. Front end sales. If you can do one thing to tweak your front end sales, you will make more money without changing literally anything else about your business. You don't have to change your marketing campaign. You don't have to change your advertising angle. You don't have to get a better sales script. You don't need better follow up. You just need to get back to people faster. Rapid response revenue. AI can help you with that. Start there. It's really, really easy to do. Like, I'll literally set everything up for you if you ask me. No problem. Just, use my stuff and I'll set it up for you. I won't even charge you for that. Right? That's where you want to start. And if you can start there, then you've got the confidence and the resources and the empowerment to say, all right, I'm ready for the future because I've stepped over that first hurdle and I'm now using AI in my business.
Yeah, and get ready for the future. I mean, that's such a great takeaway. I think that segues greatly into the end of today's show. And where can people find you online? Where can people work with you now that they know that now is the time to start tapping into AI for their business, and that it's an essential tool. It's not a want, it's a need. It'll definitely drastically help increase your revenue and your customer turnaround and your acquisition rates. So where can people find you online? What are you working on?
Yeah, you got it. So if you're interested in building a conversational funnel for your business, you can go to anabots.ai, anabots.ai. We also have a Facebook group that is designed specifically for business owners, entrepreneurs who want to learn AI but do not want to become like tech pros. And so we speak in plain English and we show basic strategies for how you can apply AI in your business. The Facebook group is called Basic Business AI. And we also have a podcast of the same name, Basic Business AI. So you can look that up on Apple or Spotify. We got our Facebook group. But if you want to have a chat, you can go straight to our website, anabots.ai. We've got 2 demos on there, one for AI voice and one for AI chat, and a lot of information on there to answer your questions. And then if you want to talk about if this is appropriate for us, then you can just request a call and I'll be happy to answer any of your questions.
Awesome. I'm sure there's some sort of AI on your website as well.
Oh yeah, we have
Yeah.
we have an AI chat on there. His name is John Connor. So go talk to John Connor. He'll
Go
answer all
talk
your
to John.
questions. Make sure you ask him about Terminator 2.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Josh, for being on the show. What a great talk about AI and its applications.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Brands Over Brews. If you enjoyed today's episode, subscribe and leave a review. Your feedback means the world to me and it helps others discover the show. If you're interested in joining the show as a guest or want to become one of our valued partners, visit brandsoverbrews.com/contact. If you have any thoughts, questions, or want to connect, you can always reach out to me on X at Pat B. Cooper.